So Pepco and Exelon trying to get married here, right? And local governments around the area have to approve the deal before it goes forward. And most municipalities have said A-OK, except for the District of Columbia. Betty Ann Kane is the chairwoman of the Public Service Commission of D.C., and she joins us now. So what's your beef with the partnership here between Exelon and Pepco?
I'm not sure beef is the right word. We had an application filed by Pepco and Exelon to approve a acquisition, a sale of Pepco essentially to Exelon, and it's therefore a change in control. And we had a very long process, a very public process that took almost a year with 4 community hearings, 11 sworn evidentiary hearings, thousands of pages of testimony. And as we're required by the law, we had to determine whether the proposal was in the public interest. And the determination, unanimous determination of the commissioners after examining the record was that the application as filed was not in the public interest, and therefore we said we did not give our approval.
Well, I understand. So what is the public interest? How is the public interest different in the district than it is in areas in Maryland who have said it's fine with that?
Well, each state, it's not the counties, it's each state has its own laws. And its own needs and considerations. So each state commission, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and the District of Columbia, have to examine a merger by their own state laws. Our standards of public interest are, number one, that it not only leaves things the way they are, that is, there be no harm, but there actually be a positive public benefit. And we filtered that through about 7 different factors, including the economy of the district, safety, reliability, the environment, the preservation of natural resources, et cetera. And those are all spelled out, in some of those in the law and some of in our rules. And so each state is different. I can't speak for other states and what their considerations or what their needs were, but based on our law and our consideration of what was filed, we determined it was not in the public interest.
So some of this is as I understand it, and from based on what you just said, is tied up in having to do with you don't think that their policies are green enough. Is that too simple?
That is a simplification, but certainly one of the things that we are required to look at in any decision, actually, that the Public Service Commission makes, is the effect on the environment and the preservation of natural resources, as well as the economy.
And what specifically do you see in this merger that bothers you when it comes to ecological issues?
The district has a very strong law in terms of moving towards more power being sourced from renewable sources, and also a very strong law in terms of people being able to generate their own electricity, for example, with rooftop solar, and with geothermal, well, that's for heat, but for everybody having access to the grid. Actually, we have a law that our law says that the Pepco is to act as a distribution company. It's not to be in the business of generating electricity, only to deliver electricity. And one of the things we found was that Exelon did not have a real commitment towards that kind of operation. That kind of way of running an electricity system. They're in the business themselves of selling electricity.
But can I just stop you, because I want to know, because it seems to me that the reason they probably aren't in favor of some of the things that the district would be in favor in is because, well, these alternative forms of electricity are very, very expensive. And if you force them to go down that path, the end result will be higher utility bills for the people who live in the district. Is that in the district's best interest?
Those alternative forms of electricity are not more expensive. The cost of wind power, for example, is coming down, and the district government itself just signed a 20-year contract for wind power, which is going to save the district government a lot of money over that time period, and the cost of solar. But it's not that; it's the delivery system anyway. People have a choice, and Exelon is in the business of generating electricity from a lot of different sources. It was the fact that the district broke up the company from Pepco separated it out from being a generator of electricity so that people could, on the open market, buy their own electricity. And there is a concern that was raised about a conflict there then, about interfering with people's choice of electricity.
Betty Ann Kane is the chairwoman of the Public Service Commission of the District of Columbia, and we're talking about their recent rejection of the takeover of Pepco by Exelon. And you mentioned something that I just want to circle back on.
Sure.
Exelon has basically said to all of its customers, all of Pepco's customers in the states that utilize Pepco, that sure, we're gonna be the new guy on the block here. We're taking over, but everything will stay the same. No change. Everything's going to be fine. Are you saying that based on the D.C. law, everything remaining the same is not good enough? It actually needs to be an improvement. If a new company comes in, or if there's a merger or a takeover, they need to demonstrate that things will get better for the customers. Maintaining the status quo is not enough.
Yes.
Wow. And then that's written into the law, or is that just...
That is our precedent.
That's the precedent.
In terms of the public interest, our definition of public interest is that there has to be an actual benefit, as well as no harm. And we did find not only that there would be really no net benefit, but there would be some significant actual and potential harms in terms of job loss, in terms of the loss of the ability of Pepco essentially to make its own decisions, and being buried under several different layers of other management, and being part of a company which at the top gets 60% of its revenue from generation, and therefore as the decisions, the decision making and the management structure and the ownership structure was a very significant concern to the commissioners.
Very quickly, I mean, some of the people who are in support of this merger say they don't think it's dead. From your perspective, can they come to you with some compromise ideas that would change your minds?
The district law permits anyone who's been a party to a case to petition for reconsideration, and that is asking the commission to reconsider their case. Now, there's some very narrow grounds on which reconsideration can be made. The law says it has to be based on an error, but we do often, when we make a decision, whether it's a rate case or something else, one of the parties will ask us to reconsider. We have to, again, look at the record, and look at the record that's before us, and make a decision on that.
All right, Betty Ann Kane, chairwoman of the Public Service Commission at the District of Columbia. As this story develops, we'll check back in with you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
Bye.